Hey guys, it's Arcade and I'm back with another video. Right off the bat, I just want to say this video will not be your usual mixing tutorial because I have kind of an unusual way of mixing. I don't really follow the standard, like the professional standard or whatever, and I don't think you need to either. I do my mixing my own way, and you might disagree with how I do things, but it works for me, so I don't really care. But I also believe that everyone should have their own way of doing things, and mixing is not an exception. Because I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do mixing. As long as it sounds good, it's good. Of course, there is a standard for doing things, but you don't need to follow that. So yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what mixing means to me, why I think many people are bad at mixing, and I'm gonna talk about how to fix it, and then I'm gonna show you an example where I actually mix a track. And I don't wanna seem like a mixing pro because I'm not, okay? I'm just a guy who makes music, and this is how I like to make it sound. But yeah, I just wanna make that clear that I'm not pretending to be some mixing professional, because I'm not. That being said, I think I do a pretty good job at mixing most of the time, and I had a bunch of success with my music, so I think it's not that bad. Also, a little bit of great news. FL Studio ImageLine just contacted me, and they wanted to include me in their power users section on their website. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a page for famous artists who use FL Studio, or just artists that made impact using FL Studio. I wouldn't call myself famous, but they wanted to include me there, which is really cool. That means a lot to me. And you can check out the page below, link will be in the description. And basically there is a little interview with me that you can read. But also, they told me they will give away free copies of FL Studio to my subscribers. So just comment down below if you want FL Studio and why, and I will choose 3 random people and give you a free copy of FL Studio. So yeah, that's some great news I wanted to share. Now back to mixing. The reason I named this why are you bad at mixing is just kind of for fun, but also because I think I have the answer. So a lot of people watch the tutorials on mixing, and I know I'm talking a lot and not showing anything, but I think this is just as important as the actual example. So the reason I think people are not good at mixing is simple. I mean, you just don't have enough experience. Basically, a lot of people watch tutorials on mixing, or a lot of tutorials on how to EQ, how to use compressors, multiband compressors. You could know how to use all of these and still not know how to mix. So that is the problem, I think. People look at the techniques, but really what it comes down to is the experience and the decision making. Basically for me, mixing is like decision making of what you want to do with this sound and how you want to shape it so it fits with the other sounds. And you just need to make these decisions. And to make these, you need experience. And the only way to get experience is just to make a lot of music all the time. And that's probably not what you want to hear, because, you just wanted to learn how to mix right now. Instead, I'm telling you that it's gonna probably take a few years to figure it out exactly how to mix the way you wanna mix. And when I say decision making, basically what I mean is when I'm gonna play this and it's terrible, it's not mixed at all, and it's really bad, but I'm gonna play it right now. And so now I would have to make a decision of what to do with this to make it sound good. So the first thing I would do is lower the sound of the clap, because it's super loud, and that's what I mean by making decisions. I usually do this while making the song, not afterwards, but in this example I'm gonna do it on an already made song, but usually I would just do it while making the song. Also, another part of mixing is just choosing the right sounds, And again, you need to make these decisions of what sound you want to use. And how do you know that? Well, you only know that if you have the experience. I know I'm still talking and you want to see just how I mix this, but I think it was important to mention what mixing really is, at least for me. And now I'm going to show you how I mix this song. I deleted all the effects so we have a clean slate. And I'm gonna try to do some things with it. But yeah, basically what I was trying to say with all this talking is that in order to start mixing well, you just need to make a lot of music, pretty much. And with making a lot of music comes a lot of experience, and you'll just be able to mix, and you won't even know how you learned it. it will just happen over time. You'll make some decisions over and over, and then it kind of becomes this habit while you're making music. So really, you're gonna create some habits while you're making music, and some of them might be good, some of them might be bad, but it's gonna shape your sound, and you're gonna pretty much get that signature sound that will just be you because of all these things you accumulated, all these habits that you accumulated while making music. Anyways, the talking is over. I hope most of you listened because that's an important part of this tutorial. But now I'm gonna get to actual examples. So yeah, let's play this again. So it's awful, of course. So the first thing I usually do when I wanna adjust the mix, I put wave candy in there and choose the preset peak meter, which shows you the decibels. And let's start with the drums. So let me just reset the volume. The kick. So the kick is at -6. We can put it like higher. Some people recommend mixing it like -6 or lower even, but I don't really care. I think you can mix at -4 just as fine. Just at the end when I add the limiter, I'm just not gonna boost the volume as much. So yeah, let's just do -4. You can really go with whatever you want. So the kick will be at -4, and for how I do mixing, I usually try to make the kick the loudest in the whole mix. So -4 will be where all the sounds should max out at, theoretically. If something doesn't sound right, I might even go over -4. Anyways, now the hi-hat. Again, I don't really have any number where I want it to be. It's just kind of like how I feel while listening to this song. This is about right, you know? The hi-hat and the kick works pretty well. This hat. Yeah, just adjust the volume. That's one of the basic mixing techniques. It's just adjusting the volume. That's like the number one. Then we have this clap. So it's like around here, but we also have this clap. So let me just play them together. And of course, lower the volume of this one. Yeah, that's pretty good. You see we are clipping pretty much, but it doesn't really matter. It's not like distorted or anything. And at the end of mixing this, I'm gonna put a limiter on the whole thing. So even if we were clipping like this much, you know, it would just push it down that much. So yeah, that's how I do it. So yeah, this is our drum. Sounds pretty good. Let's see the melody now. Okay, so we have it on channel 8 and 7. So I really don't like the second sound, so maybe just lower that one, you know? And we can also route it to number 7, so we have both of these leads in the same mixer track. So if we lower this one, nothing plays. So we can mix them together, you know? So yeah, right now I'm just doing the volume adjustments. So we have these at like -8. So let's keep them there for now. And let's move on to the next sound. Okay, let's just keep that. This one, a bit harsh. So as you can see, it's really loud, first of all. But another thing I want to do is I want to sidechain that sound. And sidechaining, another mixing technique. First was the volume, now we have the sidechaining. And that's something I use all the time. Let's just take the kick, put it on track 1, go to the mixer. Most of you probably know how to do this, but I'm going to show you anyways. There are multiple ways to do it, but this is the best one, I would say. We're going to choose kick number 1. And the sound I want to sidechain is on number 5. So I just go under number 5. Choose sidechain to this track. Then go to the mixer track number 5, put a limiter on the track, change it to compressor, select insert 1, or whatever you have here, the kick or whatever, and change the threshold and ratio. Lower the threshold and make the ratio higher. And let's see how it sounds, just the kick and the synth. and I want to lower it even more. Okay, that's good, but also I don't like the synth that much. It's too harsh, so we can use EQ, mixing technique number 3, I guess. And again, you can use whatever you want. Everybody uses different plugins, different things. I prefer more or less the basic ones. I don't really use even compressors much, but EQ is something that probably everyone should use. You don't have to though. Okay, so first thing we can do, since this is a synth, we can delete the low frequencies. So just right click on the band number 1, go to type, high pass. Then drag this dot down till there are 4 dots, and you have this steep band. So we can lower it till about 120 or something like that. Basically, we don't want the rumble. And now, what would you do with this sound? If it were you, would you boost the high frequencies? Would you lower the mid frequencies? Would you boost the mid frequencies? What would you do? And that's pretty much what it comes down to when I'm talking about experience and decision making, because I hear this sound and I don't like it because it's too harsh, so I need to do something about it. And so that's the decision. And then the experience is that I know that like some frequencies are really harsh, so I'm gonna lower them. And I'm not sure exactly which frequencies right now, but I think it's about somewhere around here. We'll see. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to do. And that's mostly it for the sound. I mean, it makes a huge difference, but it's such a little adjustment. But it's not about the adjustment, it's about knowing when to adjust it. And how do you know this? Well, as I said, experience. But also, if you are listening to other music a lot, you're gonna hear how they do it, and then when you are making something and you are in a similar situation, you can think like, in that song it was like this and it sounded good, so maybe I try to do it like that as well. I don't know, something like that, you know? I mean, I'm trying to explain mixing the best way I can, but also I know that it cannot really be explained, you have to experience it, and that's the point I'm trying to make in this video all the time. But yeah, you just really need to experience it. I don't know, man. So yeah, without the EQ is like this, and with it is like this. But it's still too loud, so let's also lower the volume. Okay, so that's how we have it right now. When I'm gonna play the whole thing, I might adjust everything again. But for now, this works. And then we have the bass. So I think I'm gonna adjust the synth again, because when I play with the bass, it's still too harsh. So I think it can be even lower. Okay, now let's take the bass and lower some of the high frequencies. So again, I'm gonna right click on the band 7 this time and go low pass. And do the same here. And now... So... Again, making another decision, do you want more of a sub-bassy sound? Or do you want a really harsh one? Or something between? So I want this to have more power in the midsection, I think. And this is the bass, so we definitely don't want to remove the low frequencies. But yeah, let's see how it sounds now. Okay, that's better, but I think we can still remove more of these frequencies. Also, let's go again to the kick and sidechain the bass this time, because we're gonna need that. Definitely sidechain the bass all the time, because the bass and the kick are not best friends for sure. So let's see how it sounds with the kick. I'm gonna boost the mid frequencies a little bit, because I feel like that's the sound I want from this track, is to have some mid frequencies. Also, let's play the whole thing now and see where we are at right now. Okay, so one thing I want to do is also sidechain the leads. You don't have to sidechain the leads all the time, but I think in this case it will actually work better. So bam bam bam. So yeah, I still don't like the mix, but we are getting better. I mean, it's better than it was at the beginning. I think the leads, maybe put a sound goodizer on it. And yeah, you're gonna kill me for using sound goodizer in a mixing tutorial, what? But as I mentioned before, I don't really follow any rules or standards. I think sound goodizer makes it sound fatter, and that's all I know, and that's what I needed for this specific thing. Also, maybe take the synths and put stereo shaper on it. Another plugin that I use a lot, and another thing you can use as a mixing technique, because making things more stereo will make a big difference. I mean, listen to this. And with it, actually, let me just enable something, you know. So I'm gonna use this preset. So without it, and with it, it's suddenly like it's playing left and right instead of in the middle. So let's hear it now. Okay, I still don't like it that much. So what's off? So I think the bass is too loud, so let's lower that. And maybe even lower the kick a little bit, and the clap as well. Okay, that's way better. Maybe we can put some reverb on the melody. And so yeah, now it's just listening to it and adjusting it as you want. Again, what you feel is bad, just try to adjust it to what you think is good. now I'm thinking maybe have this play higher and have the melody kind of fade away a little bit. Let me actually go to the melody and also delete the low frequencies from that melody, because we don't really need them, of course. It's melody. And maybe we can still lower the clap as well. And maybe make the sidechaining a little bit bigger. And now let's put a limiter on the whole thing. I use FabFilter Pro limiter, which is a good one, and we can boost the volume a little bit if we want to. When we work with -4, in theory we could boost it by +4, but let's just do like 2.6. And yeah, there we have it. It's the mixed song. So this is how we mixed it right now. And I'm gonna show you how I mixed it before when I was creating the song. So let's see the difference, because I don't even remember. So yeah, here's the no mixed, which is awful. And of course, even if we lower the clap, because that one is terrible, but it still sounds bad. And then we have the mixed one. Which compared to the not mixed one is really good. I still feel like it would need some more mixing work. And yeah, this is my mixing tutorial. I don't know, hopefully you like it, hopefully you can learn something new. As I said before, I'm not a mixing pro. Like, I see some tutorials where people are like really into mixing, like using some advanced plugins and even hardware, stuff like that. And I can tell you right now, you don't need that to make a good mix. Okay, it might help you, but you can make a really good sounding track with only adjusting the volume if you wanted to. So yeah, I know this was kind of an unusual mixing tutorial, and really what it comes down to is if you want to be good at mixing, just keep making music for years, every day or whenever you want to, but just keep making music, and one day you won't even know how it happened and you'll already be really good at mixing, because you kind of learn it gradually. So you won't even notice the difference, but when you listen to your old tracks and the new ones, you'll see it. So yeah, anyways, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.